Hey guys, and welcome back to Dan's Pro Shop. You know me, it's your man, Dan. Today, we are going over some awesome stuff. Well, singular stuff, a thing, but opens categories to more things, if that makes any sense. Well, if you guys are anything like me, you have your EDC stuff, your everyday carry. Whenever you wake up, you know, you load up your pants pockets, your jacket, your overalls, whatever, with your normal, everyday, like crucial stuff that you need. And if you're anything like myself, a flashlight is always one of those things. And I gotta tell you, brother, I found a new one that I am genuinely impressed with. And sometimes, you know, big things come in a small package. So guys, allow me to introduce to you, if you have not heard of, NITECORE. This brand, I kind of stumbled across by accident, but I gotta tell you, I am genuinely impressed with the stuff that they offer, and they have wide offerings too. Not just flashlights, but they have like, weapons mounted lights and like just different application stuff, like not just regular flashlights. They cover all kinds of crap. But the one that we're doing today particularly is the NITECORE EDC23. Just getting in here for a better look, this is the packaging this thing comes in. Snazzy little box. I mean, you know, it is what it is for a box, but it gives you a pretty good, I'd say that this is a one-to-one picture here on the front. It boasts a 2500 lumens, and this thing, I gotta tell you, is insanely bright. You will see when we get there. Getting into the box here, it comes, well, it's missing here because I've actually been using this thing. I wanted to give you guys a more than just a opening it kind of thing. I've been using it so you can trust that this is a real review. In the kit here, you obviously get some paperwork and I don't know, warranty card perhaps. USB-C charging cable that comes with it, so that's a dead giveaway here of how like awesome and user-friendly this thing is to charge. And we even get this fancy little like a paracord lanyard thing that's meant to go with it. Now guys, for the light itself, look at this cute little thing. And it is, I gotta tell you, this is an impressive little light. I know that this looks like it's anodized aluminum. Nay, this is stainless steel. And just the ergonomics of this thing makes sense. I know that these like flat rectangular style flashlights are kind of taken over right now, and these guys really kind of nailed it. Right off the bat, you see a nice big flat wide pocket clip that makes it easy to go onto your jeans or whatever kind of pants you're wearing. And this little loop right here is where this paracord thing is to mount. So, I mean, it just gives you options. You want to hang it on something, do whatever you want to. You guys see this nice knurling on the side here. That just gives you a good firm grip on this thing. And, you know, since we're talking about like ergonomics and how it fits in the hand, let's go ahead and throw this up against the tape measure. So for overall length from tip to tip here, we got almost exactly 4 inches. Width is, let's just say, 1.5 inches roughly. And thickness at its widest part, let's say 3/4 inch. So all in all, this is a pretty small package for what this thing delivers. You guys can tell here that it is a 2-piece case and it's held together with these Torx machine screws. So like this is a quality build. And one of the things that stands out the most about this is you guys see that there's a screen on here. That's right, there is an LCD screen on your flashlight that gives you real-time data about what's going on. On the side here is a lock switch. And this is the like intuitive kind of lock switch, like you would find a lock on a pocket knife. Whenever it's in the up position, say you're putting it in your jeans, the switch is going to want to go up while you're going into your pants pocket. So this is the lock position, and then down, or you're removing it from your pocket, this is what unlocks it. On the opposite side of the lock, there is a nice little dust cover for your USB charging port. And it is a retained cover, so you will not lose it. I believe this is IP rated for weather, for water and dust, you know what I mean. But it snaps back in there, nice and contained. On the back side here, we just got a little more knurling, like a nice spot for your thumb. And then you notice here on the top, there are 2 switches. Well, these are actually both 2 position switches. Like there's a light press, if you will, and then a full press on both of these switches. You see that this one is just big and tactile, and then the other one has the on-off switch. Let's go ahead and start going over some of the details of this thing. Starting off, if we have the lever in the up position or locked, and you try to do something, it will tell you, hey, this thing is locked, and then it will display the battery voltage of what is currently in the light. So right there, it's telling us that we're on level 1, and we have 4.2 volts of charge, or it's full. And please excuse the flickering screen here. Unfortunately, this is just the way that cameras pick up a lot of screens. I promise you in person that does not happen. Either way, if we unlock the flashlight and then we hit a button, it will tell you right here, hey, this is what level you're at. And then a soft press or a single press or the first stage or whatever you want to call it for the power button, this will cycle through your intensity levels and give you a lumen readout. So starting in the basement, 15 lumens, 65, 200, and 1100. And this thing has something that they refer to as turbo mode. And whenever you get this thing full tilt all the way up to the advertised 2500 lumens. And let me tell you, brother, this thing is screaming bright. So once you pick which level you want to be on, so let's just say I want 200, then you do a full press. And then that is what stays on. And once you are on the level that you want, it displays a timer of how long you have in this mode. So right now at 200 lumens, we have 3 hours and 44 minutes of runtime with this flashlight at this intensity. Now, if we were to ramp this thing up to 1100, now we have 1 hour and 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and put this down to its lowest 15, 39 hours of runtime. I mean, yes, this isn't the brightest at this particular setting, but let's say that you're camping or something and you really need to conserve this, you don't have a power source or whatever, you have 40 hours in this flashlight off of a full charge. And simply to turn the flashlight off, you do a full press on the power button and it turns it off. You can lock it, you can do whatever. Now we get to this switch. This switch is actually programmable. So if you go through the user manual or whatever I did with it, this guy right here, it tells you the different modes and different functions that you can have programmed onto this like quick access switch. So if we do a single press or a short press or whatever you want to call it, the first detent in this switch, it gives you turbo mode at 2500 lumens. And if you press and hold it, it gives you a strobe. And this thing, I cannot explain to you how insanely bright this thing is on this setting. Now, keep in mind there is a caveat with this turbo 2500 lumen mode. Now, the best I can figure is because the discharge on this thing, it is such a high rate of DC whenever it's outputting the 2500 lumens, there must be some sort of capacitor bank in here, and I'll show you what I mean. Whenever you do a short press on the large button here, see on the screen there, it says we're in turbo at 2500, and it gives you a set amount of time that this thing will run before it derates to its 1100 setting. And then you can see here, as soon as you let off, it like recharges. So I'm not exactly sure if this is just discharging a capacitor inside of here to get that extra little kick, or if this is simply a heat sink or like some kind of safety setting, because this thing does get cooking if you have it all the way up. Now, speaking of heat, you guys see here on the bottom, both of these LEDs are the output. This does not switch from UV or laser or whatever. These are just bright white LED outputs. But you see this little hole here in the center. I originally thought that that was a laser. That's not the case. That little hole is an infrared heat pickup, and it is there for your safety. In the event that you put this thing in your pocket or like in a stack of papers or, you know, those darn oily rags you got sitting around the garage, if this thing activates in its turbo mode, whenever this little sensor is covered, it will shut this thing down automatically. Because, take note on the back here, they even realize that this thing gets hot. Whenever you're cooking this thing in turbo mode, and if you're doing this for quite a while or whatever, this thing does get a little toasty because of the insane output of this thing. Now, speaking of output, I actually found some literature here on the back. So we charge at 1.5 amps, and it discharges, I don't know if you can see that, max discharge current, 10 amps. 10 DC amps of output discharge for this thing whenever she's cooking. And, well, dude, I can't tell you enough what this thing can do. I guess let's just, let's go do some comparison. So just for argument's sake here, I have my, my current / other everyday carry light that you guys have seen before. I'm not going to name drop. If you know what this is, you know what it is. This is still a fantastic light, and I love features about it. Honestly, that's one of my favorite features about this one, is my #1 lacking thing on the NITECORE. This light, my traditional or my current everyday carry, dare I say, the base of it has a magnet on it. And you guys know me, I spend a lot of time in electrical cabinets, and this magnetic base is a huge lifesaver. But either way, this is a decent light. I really, really, really do like this light. But we will go ahead and compare these two, as well as a Streamlight ProTac 2A. This, I mean, you guys can tell here by the wear on this thing. This thing lived in my pocket for probably 8 years, until these newer, like, lithium lights had come around with different settings and insane brightnesses and everything. This Streamlight was my absolute #1 go-to. I loved this light, and for what it is, it's bright. However, this takes regular AA batteries, and this thing chews them up. So, you know, for as much as I was using this thing as a technician every day, it really, really went through some batteries. But I feel like between the three of these, this is going to be a good... Yeah, let's just, I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I tried to find you a decent dark corner of the garage. That little bit of ambient light you can see there is the pellet stove running behind me. But first, let's go ahead and start off with the Streamlight. So this is the Streamlight. You guys can kind of see it there. I tell you what, let me light up the back end here so you can tell which flashlight this actually is. So, yeah, there you go. This is the Streamlight ProTac 2. And you can see, like, this is its maximum intensity. Whenever you hold it, you can change its intensity, and this one also actually has a strobe. So if you tap it a couple times, there you go, on the lowest setting on the Streamlight. It starts off in the high, and if you double tap, you go to strobe. For the longest time, I really loved this light, but I tell you what, let's just go ahead and step up the ladder here. And here we go, the next one in line. This is the other rectangular one that I told you guys about. So you guys are familiar with this thing and what it is. Here is the output of this guy. Now this is like its 3/4 output. You hold it again, this is its maximum. I'm not exactly sure what this output is, but you guys can already tell it's significantly better than the Streamlight. That's the Streamlight on full power. This is this one on full power, minimum. And you guys understand how these work. You press and hold the center button and it toggles through. Now this one also has a strobe. You double tap and it does that. But this one also has a laser and UV. So there are cool things. It depends on what you're looking for. But either way, what I'm getting at is this is the maximum discharge for this light. And finally, here we are with the NITECORE EDC23. Let's go ahead and see what this thing does. Here we are in turbo mode. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Maybe this will be a little bit better representation here. Let's light up the whole darn building. Look at that. How for one wee little pocket flashlight that's 4 inches big, I mean, this thing is insanely impressive. So let's go ahead and change the power mode. Let's just start at #1 and go up through them. So this is, what is this one? Level 1, level 2, 3, and 4. This, there we go. We have an hour and a half runtime at this brightness. And then if we want to, we can go turbo. And it's, I got to tell you how impressed this thing is. All right, so now I'm out here a little bit so you guys can see me. Here with the stream light. So, I mean, still not a bad light. I really do like this light. But, I mean, for double A's and the discharge, and, you know, things have just gotten better. Here we are with the next rectangular one that you probably know what it is. This is its normal turn on state. And then we hold it to get the bright one. I mean, it's still really good, and not to mention the other features that this one comes with. And then here we are with the NITECORE. This is that 1100 setting. I mean, do I have to tell you the insane difference? I mean, let's just go back and forth here. This is the stream light at full setting. This is the NITECORE at 3/4 of its full setting. Streamlight, NITECORE. Streamlight, NITECORE. Now, Streamlight, full tilt, everything it has. NITECORE in turbo mode. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think the proof is in the pudding between the three of these things here. Now, I know there are some features and functions and stuff that you have to pick and choose from for what you do, and there's different applications for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. That's why we love the competitive, you know, world of commerce, that we have these abilities. So let's just go over pricing just a little bit. So starting in the basement with this Streamlight that I've had forever. Now keep in mind, this thing released forever ago. I want to say like early 2000s. This thing has been around for a minute. And it used to be super expensive, but now not so much. This is available on Amazon for right around $50. Now moving up to the next one. I really do like this light, and I've used it every day for well over a year until this thing came into my life. This has a lot of cool features and functions, and like I mentioned, that magnetic thing is probably my favorite part about this. Of course, maybe if I could get something that's metal here. The magnetic aspect of this, I absolutely love, and it is a real lifesaver. That being said, with the cool features and functions of this thing, one of the biggest downsides is its proprietary charging system. Don't get me wrong, this is cool. I like it that it's quick and it's easy, and everything made by this manufacturer, or let's just say 90% of everything made by them, utilizes this same charging platform. It is nifty, and I realize that that's kind of what gives you the magnetic thing that I like so much. But that being said, now you have to have a specific charger just for this one. So if you lose this or damage it or something, like, you're screwed. You need that charger to charge this light. Do I like it? Yes. At the same time, like, nah, USB-C. Everything in the world uses USB-C. Now, I realize that there's ups and downs to that also, because if you charge with a USB-C, now you have an open port in your light, and if this thing lives in your pocket, or like you drop this thing in a bucket of motor oil or something, there are pros and cons to everything. You take with it what you will. Now, I know I've been talking about it a lot. The NITECORE EDC23, any stabs at the price on this thing? Coming in right in the middle between these two guys, it's 75 bucks retail. So you guys saw the little test we did here. I know it's nothing earth-shattering, but insanely brighter than both of these. And I would argue to say both of these put together. And also being the smallest of the three, this thing is still the brightest. It has the brightest strobe. Oh, and that's a cool thing about the strobe I didn't even mention to you guys. This thing has, like, I don't even know what you want to call it, like a sporadic strobe. Every 5 seconds or so, the strobe changes patterns. It's not just a consistent blink like a regular strobe light. It will start that way, and then it starts going crazy and chaotic and everything. And if you read through the book, they say that's to maximize the confusion of your assailant, or whatever. It is cool. I've never seen that like feature on a flashlight before. And that strobe function utilizes the turbo mode of this thing. So it is as bright as it can be at that 2500 lumens. But that strobe thing, because it turns on and off, it's not limited to that like that remaining time thing or that capacitor discharge or whatever that may be that's going on, or the heat thing or whatever. The only time that time remaining thing is a factor is whenever you're just holding straight on, well, I guess I should unlock it, is whenever you're holding straight on that 2500 turbo thing. Now keep in mind, that's not something that I would use like too often. Like, I mean, it's awesome that you have it because there are applications where you would totally need the brightest light that you could possibly have. But let's be honest, you're digging in an engine bay or underneath a dashboard or looking in an electrical panel or something. A light that is that bright, the reflection that you get from it, it just washes you out. It's too bright. It's like staring at a welding arc. This thing is ridiculously bright on that setting, which, I mean, rightfully so. That's what it's for. But for like regular, all the time practical application, it's way too bright. So the fact that you can like use this little screen, it'll tell you what mode you're on, what lumens you are utilizing, and how long of a runtime you get with it. I just think that that's really cool. It's another little thing. Like, I've never dealt with a flashlight that had a digital readout to tell you what's going on inside of it. And the fact that the case of this thing is made out of stainless steel, you know that it's rugged. It's gonna put up with it. So I've been carrying this thing for, I don't know, probably a month or so now at this point. Obviously, a month is nothing for an everyday carry item. You know, it lives in your pocket most of the time. But I've dropped this thing, I've beat it up, I've kicked it around, and it's still kicking. And like I mentioned, this thing has a USB-C charger. Now, like I mentioned just a minute ago, yes, there are ups and downs to both of that. My favorite thing is that everything uses USB-C, like my phone, my tablet, my like rechargeable mouse, it's you name it. Everything uses USB-C cables. So like I have them laying around all over the place. So this thing needs a little top up. You just plug it in and you're going. You don't need a crazy proprietary charging cable for this thing, or do you need replaceable alkaline batteries? This kind of is like the Goldilocks because it has a lot of the features that I was looking for. It's not over the top expensive, but it's also not like cheap. It's a quality item. So I don't know, when you get to that point in life where it's like it's okay to spend a little bit of coin on something that you know you're getting something worth it, if that makes any sense. But at the same time, like, it's a value. So I don't really know how to explain that. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap either. So like, it's not garbage, but it's not unattainium. It's kind of like that happy right in the middle. Like, if you saw this on the counter on the tool truck whenever you walked in, like, hey, I need to exchange this ratchet. Oh, by the way, we got these flashlights here for 75 bucks. Okay, give me one. But these are available on Amazon. Anybody can get one. So guys, in conclusion, I'm going to try to keep this one short and sweet. And I don't want to drag this out for you. I mean, it's a flashlight. We've all seen them. But this NITECORE EDC23 truly blew away my expectations. I mean, for how little this thing is, I was immediately skeptical whenever I opened it. I'm like, well, this didn't exactly meet my expectations of like whenever I was looking at it online, and whenever you hold it in your hand, it's totally different. But I gotta tell you, this turbo mode thing on this is insanely impressive. And the fact that you can change your modes, like the level 4 at 1100 lumens, this thing, so you get, what was it, an hour and a half of runtime at this thing at 3/4 of its ability, so 75% of its output. It's so 75% of 10 amps this thing is outputting. It is impressive. The discharge and the output of this little thing, like the technology that is in this thing, is unreal for a $75 throw in your pocket everyday carry flashlight. I am truly impressed. And I tell you what, with the holiday season rapidly approaching here, I think there's going to be a couple stockings with some NITECOREs in them, because I know if I like this thing, I know there's other people in my life that's going to like this thing too. So if you're interested in picking up one of these things for yourself, or for anybody on your Christmas list this year, be sure to check out the link down in the description. Head on over and grab one of these NITECORE EDC23s sooner rather than later. I mean, like, really, do you need an excuse to get another flashlight? They're just like tools. Yeah, oh, I already have an 11/16 wrench. I don't need another one. Yeah, you do. So yeah, guys, that's about the size of it here. The NITECORE EDC23. You know, if I didn't truly like it, I wouldn't be here telling you that I did. You know, if you're looking for that new little thing, this just might be that little thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you next time. I wonder how I can change that button. Oh, sweet Lord, do not look at that. Oh, I'm seeing headlights.